mental health care. I'm old school. We don't care about that. No. I mean, seriously, I don't think I make this class too hard.
You don't. It's just, I don't know. I was just sharing with someone. I'm like, I feel like these chapters is just so much freaking info.
I told you guys that like 3 weeks ago, right? I was like, you know, this is where the information is really kind of dense, and it gets easier from here in terms of info. So
Does it? Because I feel like quitting. Like I swear, I feel like quitting.
no.
And I'm not a quitter, but I just feel like this is gonna drop my grade.
But I told you guys that from the beginning, right? I was like, these chapters are going to be the most information, and then after that, it gets a little easier. But yeah, muscles and bones are always going to be the high density stuff.
Yeah.
And you know, I try to trim it down to bare minimum and stuff like that. But you know, there's
I'm having a lot of issues with the review questions where it's giving you like the neck flexion and then what's the prime mover synergist. I'm having issues with that.
okay.
I tried looking some stuff up. I try to read stuff, but it's so many muscles. It's confusing.
Right now. What?
I agree. All right. Oh. Actually, let's go through the review first. Blah, blah. But I don't know. Well, I'm busy. Okay. Bye bye. Okay. All right. Mhm. All right. Hello. All right. You guys can turn on your webcam. We get started on this. Okay. Okay. So this is probably the hardest section on the review. Okay, understanding all these things. So let's go over it. So neck flexion. What is the prime mover?
Trapezoids?
Nope. Wrong side of the neck. Neck flexion, moving your head down, like when you nod. So the muscles have to be in front of the neck, right? So
Part of the down. Would that be the longissimus capitis?
No, this happiness, that's also in the back of the neck. Right? So all the muscles in the back of the neck will be antagonists. Okay? Venus, capitis, cervicus.
Question, Professor, where would I find that one? Because I went through the book, but I couldn't find the neck flexion.
Okay. So it's in the PowerPoint. Oops. Clamps. No. Choose.
Is it the sternocleidomastoid?
Yep.
Oh, I see. I see what I did. I erased it actually, and I put the sternocleidomastoid as a participant, the synergist.
Just yeah, it's actually the prime mover.
Oh, okay. I got it backwards. Okay.
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 So okay. So the opposite of neck flexion is neck extension. So okay. So that would go there. That would go there. Okay. Okay. All right. What is the prime mover in arm flexion?
Pectoralis major?
Pectoralis major. And therefore, what is the synergist? Okay. Right? So usually the minor is always going to be the synergist for the major. Okay. So pectoralis major, pectoralis minor, and the antagonist is going to be what? Okay. So the antagonist will always be on the other side of the joint. Does that make sense, you guys? Yes, no? Okay. All right. First things first. Can you guys all turn on your webcams and know what you guys can be like? Actively engaged in this. Okay. Okay. So pectoralis major, right, is on the front side. So you'll find something. So pectoralis major is here, right? So it's going to be on opposite side of the joint. So what's on my back side right there? Trapezius. Okay. What else? Latissimus. Dorsey. Okay. Deltoids. Okay. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay. Feel free to say no. You know, don't say anything. I'm gonna assume you guys understand.
Yes, it makes sense. It's just confusing because like I would have thought rhomboid minor because it's closer, it's further up to the neck versus latissimus dorsi. I don't know. I mean, like that's how I kind of critically thought it. That obviously it's wrong,
For what? For arm flexion, the antagonist?
right? Because it's closer.
It sort of is. The rhomboids, the way they're designed really is to bring your shoulders back. So if you were trying to like put your shoulder blades together, that will be the rhomboids. But yeah, rhomboids. I mean, I would accept that as an antagonist as well. It's just not. It's just not the. It's not just the. It's not the major one, right? Also, you have to realize the major antagonist will be pretty big. Does that make sense in terms of muscle size? Okay. Jesus. Crap. All right. And then obviously the opposite is true.
Shoot.
Okay. So forearm flexion. Okay. How do I flex my forearm?
You're flexing the biceps brachii.
Biceps. Yeah. And what are the synergists? So what muscles right underneath the biceps?
Triceps.
No. Triceps on the other side of the joint. So triceps.
Brachioradialis. And triceps. Okay, now it's making sense to me. Okay, spinal flexion.
Oh,
Would be. So then will the spinal flexion start off with the prime mover as the triceps brachii?
No. So spinal. Well, you're
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. We're talking about the spine. My bad.
yeah.
I'm
That's
sorry.
forearm extension. Yes. Right.
Forearm.
Extension. The prime mover.
That's
the
what that was.
triceps. Right.
Okay.
You were thinking like
Yes.
the opposite, right?
Yes.
So yeah, you're absolutely right. Okay.
Okay.
So for forearm extension, it's gonna be triceps, and then the antagonist will be the biceps brachii. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the synergist and antagonist will always be on the opposite sides of the joint that you're looking at. Okay. All right. Spinal flexion.
I'm sorry. Will the synergist always be below the prime mover?
No, they're not below. Usually they're smaller than the prime mover.
Okay.
The prime movers are usually the big muscles. The synergists are usually the small muscles.
And the antagonists are the ones behind it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Spinal flexion. All right, I'm gonna pick on someone. All right, Vanessa. All right. So stand up for me. All right. So how do you flex your spine?
You said, how do we flex our spine?
Yeah.
Oh,
Is it with bending over or?
Right.
Like-
Bend over, right? So
mhm.
like bend over. What muscles are you using when you bend over?
That the longissimus
Yeah.
thoracis?
Nope. Wrong side.
Wouldn't it?
Is it pectoralis,
Pectoralis, you mean?
is, yes. Is it,
Too high.
Too high.
It's gonna be in the abdomen.
Yes.
You're
So that would be the rectus abdominis?
Rectus abdominis. Yes.
Okay. That's what's so confusing.
That's what you do when you do a sit up, right? When you do a sit up, you're actually doing spinal flexion.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Rectus abdominis, external oblique,
External.
internal oblique. Okay.
Okay.
And so, well,
So then the synergist, you said, is always like a smaller muscle?
yeah. External oblique, internal oblique. Okay. The rectus abdominis is the one that's really kind of, when you're doing sit-ups, that's the one you're really working. The external obliques and internal obliques help with that, right? But they're more helpers and they're more for twisting side to side. All right. What's the opposite?
So then are we looking at the back? So would it be the longissimus thoracis?
Yeah, it is. But so I love spine. So what's this? Blah blah blah. I love this.
This is, so,
And spinal.
so it's all of them.
But honestly, those are the three muscles. And by the way, that's the mnemonic for remembering it. But all I asked you for was to remember that as a big group called the erector spinae.
Okay.
Okay, does that make sense? Those muscles usually work together, and they call it the erector spinae.
Okay.
Okay, and like
Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, I mean, it's in your notes. That's one big group to know. Okay, and then obviously this. So I'll go here. Rightness abdominis. Oops. We'll go here. The synergist quadratus lumborum. Okay.
Prof, do you mind bringing it down just a little bit? I could just take a snapshot of it.
This.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I mean this is being recorded, so
I know, but sometimes like, I don't know, sometimes it thing takes longer. I don't know if it's my computer or what to get it. So
Okay.
try to have it. Thank you.
sure. All right, hip flexion.
I can't pronounce the word. Is it the ilio? I don't know. IOPSOAS?
Yep. Iliopsoas. The P is actually silent.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So iliopsoas. Okay. Good. So that's the prime mover. Okay. What's the antagonist? So the iliopsoas is right in front of the hip, right? So what's behind it? What's on the opposite side?
The glutes, the hamstrings.
Good. Glutes and hamstrings. Okay. So gluteus
Medius and the
maximus,
minimum.
knee, then okay. The three hamstrings, especially the biceps, femoris, semitendinosus, semimembranosus. Okay, all of those are going to be antagonists. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, the synergist for hip flexion is going to be the quadriceps rectus femoris. The ilio sartorius and tensor fascia flexor. Okay, does that make sense, you guys? Yes. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Diego, this one's yours. Knee extension.
The gluteus maximum, medium, and minimum.
I'm sorry?
Oh no, I thought it was
Oh, hip extension will be exactly backwards.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Knee extension.
Quadriceps.
Quadriceps. Good. So, rectus femoris. vastus, lateralis, intermedius, and medialis. Okay. All right. So there's no real synergists in this movement. What are the antagonists? What's on the opposite side? What's on the opposite side of your quads?
The opposite side of what?
The opposite side of your quadriceps.
Hamstrings.
Hamstrings. So what are the 3 hamstrings? Okay, does that make sense? Okay, so your hamstrings actually play 2 roles. Okay, so the hamstrings are going to flex the knee and they're going to extend the hip. And so these 2 are going to be opposites of each other. Okay. All right. Arm abduction.
The middle region of the deltoid muscle.
Okay. Deltoids. Okay. What are the synergists?
Triceps brachii? No? Rotator?
A little bit. Okay. The rotator cuff muscle. So infraspinatus, supraspinatus, teres minor, and actually not teres minor, but the other 2 help, and the subscapularis. The opposite
What
to
is
the deltoids will be teres.
dorsi? Oh, teres major. That is major. Okay. Latissimus, yeah, dorsi. Okay.
Yeah. That also helps. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Trapezius will also be acceptable here. Okay. Okay, and obviously these are going to be the opposites. All right. Does that make sense to you guys?
It's starting to, yes.
Okay. Wrist flexion.
The carpi flex. The flexor carpi
Ulnaris tendon?
ulnaris.
Okay.
Ulnaris. Flexor carpi medialis brachial so actually in reality this is actually the one that's primarily involved. So like if you don't remember, it's flex your forearm, hold it like flex your wrist, hold it there and see what muscle tires out first. Like you'll feel it.
Yeah, it's the brachial.
Okay. And then the opposite is pretty easy. So extensor, and then right. It's just the exact opposite. It's this extensor, blah blah blah. Okay, does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So plantar flexion.
Plantar flexion.
This one should be easy. All right. Okay, so we'll put on Gina over here. All right, Gina, how do you do plantar flexion? What are you doing?
You're pointing your toe down.
Good. So do it.
I'm doing it.
Okay, so what muscles getting tired right now?
Let's see. It wouldn't be the gastrocnemius, would it?
Gastrocnemius, yes.
Okay.
And so what are the synergists?
Synergists are
Soleus, right? So the gastrocnemius and soleus, they're your calf muscles, right? Generally, like your calf muscles or your gastrocnemius and soleus put together. Okay, gastrocnemius is on the outside, soleus is on the inside. Okay, together they're sometimes known as the triceps. All right, so you can also put that. Okay, what else? So soleus, and then plantar. Okay, tibialis.
Yeah, that's anterior. Oh, it's posterior.
Yeah, plantar flexion. Plantar flexion, you're using all the muscles in the back of the leg, right? I mean, you're standing on your tiptoes, right? So think about what muscles get tired when you stand on your tiptoes.
Yes. Okay. Good thing. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So the what is the opposite of plantar flexion?
Then that would be
dorsiflexion.
Dorsiflexion. So what muscles on the opposite side of the joint? There's only one.
so. Would that be the tibialis anterior?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't see that. My bad.
I mean, you feel it like if you put your hand on your shin and dorsiflex and plantar flex your leg, you'll feel a muscle bulging out, and that muscle bulging out is the tibialis anterior. Okay, does that make sense, you guys?
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously these are opposites. Okay. All right, extension of the big toe.
Tibialis anterior.
Nope.
So the for dorsiflexion, then what would be the synergist?
Not, there are none.
None. Got
Yeah.
it. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Sorry.
What controls your big toe?
Is it the extensor hallucis longus muscle?
Okay. So
So then would it be the brevis instead of the longus?
Correct.
Okay.
okay. What's the opposite?
Opposite would be
Flexor, I don't know how to say it, hallucis longus?
Yeah. Right? This is the opposite, right? Extension, flexion. So flexor hallucis longus. Okay. Does that make sense, you guys?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Extension of the little toes.
Would that be the fibralis tertius?
Nope.
Extensor digitorum longus?
Digitorum. Okay. Digitorum. Okay. Little toes. Okay. Does that make sense? Okay, watch. Okay, so all of you guys have your, feet and stuff, right? Right? You guys should all flex and extend your big toe, right? Yes. You guys can all move your little toes, but when you move your little toes, you move them all together, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. The reason why you move them all together is because you're using your extensor digitorum longus, and that pulls everything together. Does that make sense? Like, technically, you can use like one toe at a time, but that requires a whole other level of training. And like, they you only really do that if you're like missing arms and stuff. Okay. Okay. So extensor digitorum longus, and so obviously This would be brevis.
Yeah.
And then what is the opposite?
Would it be the solus?
Nope.
No.
So the opposite of extension is,
Flexor.
Flexor.
yeah, flexor, digitorum. And obviously that goes there. Okay, and oops, crap. Sorry, this all goes. This group, these columns. These go here. So actually, big toe is, I'll use this. So the big toe is the helix. So this is. The thumb is the pollex. Digit. Or okay. Does that make sense so far?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. So neck rotation. This one's actually really difficult. Sternal. So this muscle, the sternocleidomastoid, and then scalings. So what's going to happen? You have your sternocleidomastoid on one side and the scalings on one side. If you contract all the muscles on this side, it's going to move my neck to the right. If I want to move my neck to the left, I use this group, the same group of muscles, but on the opposite side, and I'll move my neck to the left. Does that make sense? So it is its own little antagonist, just the opposing muscles. Okay. Okay. Okay, hip extension. About is basically here. So hip extension. Flex. The synergist. Antagonist. Right here. Quadriceps. Okay. Okay. Hip adduction. So what are you doing when you're adducting your hips?
You're moving it towards the
Moving your
midline.
glute.
Moving it toward what?
The midline.
The midline. Okay. So how would you explain it to someone? What are you actually doing?
Wouldn't it be moving your glutes?
Nope.
No.
That's like
I
the
would-
exact
I would-
volume.
Would you be using the vastus lateralis?
Vastus lateralis. Nope.
Oh, you'll be pulling it in. So adductor magnus?
Yes. So all the adductor longus, adductor brevis, adductor magnus, okay, the gracilis, the pectineus, all the muscles on the inside part of your legs. Okay, so like hip adduction is basically closing your legs.
Okay, yeah.
Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So adductor longus, magnus, brevis, pectineus.
So then would it be for the synergy? No. Would it be the vastus lateralis then for the synergist and the vastus intermedius and medialis?
Vastus, the
So the-
synergist would be the vastus
Lateralis,
medialis,
medialis, okay,
right? It's the one in the inside part of your thigh,
okay.
right?
got it.
Lateralis is on the outside part of your thigh. The vastus medialis is the inside part of your thigh. Okay. And then the opposite of that, that's going to be the glutes,
Mm,
right? So it's on the adductors on the inside part of your thigh, the glutes on the outside part of the thigh. That makes sense? They wraps around the outside of the hip. Okay. Gluteus maximus, medius minimus. Okay, and obviously this goes there, that goes there. Okay. Does that make sense to you guys? Yes.
It's much clearer now. I mean, you still have to study a whole lot, but that's much,
Okay.
I understand. Yeah, I understand better now.
Okay. So that really is the way I want you guys to understand muscles. You want to, I always like asking muscles from the point of how things move, right? So just that's what muscles do, right? So like, if you ever go into, physical therapy and other stuff, you really have to understand is how muscles move and not just where they are. Okay. Okay. Shouldn't say that. Okay. Does that make sense, you guys? Yes.
Yes.
All right. So let's see what else we want to go over.
Can we double check the origins and insertion?
Sure. Where's the origins and insertions? Okay, so triceps. What's the origin?
I have humerus and scapula,
Yep. And the insertion?
the ulna.
Yep. The brachialis?
I have humerus,
Okay. Insertion?
ulna.
Yep. Brachioradialis?
I have humerus again,
Yep. Insertion?
the radius.
Good. Okay. Flexor copy on there is
What? This is different. Mine says deltoid next.
Did I give you the different version? Probably did. Oh, did I make another one that I completely forgot about? No, no. This is where's the deltoid? Okay. I'm gonna work out that one. All right. So deltoid. What's the
I think I did that one though.
Okay.
Yeah, there was two different ones, so I remember printing out two.
okay? Which one's the deltoid?
Clavicle and humerus.
Okay. Insertion.
Well,
Okay. So
the humerus is insertion.
So the deltoid, the origin is the clavicle, is also the scapula, the insertion is the humerus.
So it's clavicle and scapula.
Yeah.
Got it.
Professor, can you be more specific? Because on my paper, I put clavicle and then spine of the scapula. Were those two the same thing?
Well, yes, but I only asked you for the bone, right? So does that make sense? So I don't need you to know all the details about exactly where on the bone, just the bone. So scapula. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool. Okay. What's the next muscle?
The biceps brachia.
Okay, biceps brachii. What is the origin?
The origin is the scapula,
Scapula. Good. What's the insertion?
the radius.
Radius. Good.
Mine had the next one after deltoid was pectoralis major.
Okay. Hold on one second. I realize I put in more versions up there, but I'm gonna go off the version that's on the actual module. Okay. Because I keep changing it every once in a while. But I'm gonna go off of this one. Okay, so pectoralis major, what's the origin?
Clavicle?
Okay, clavicle.
Sternum as well. I have both.
Huh?
I have clavicle and sternum.
Yep. Okay. All right, what's the insertion?
The humerus?
Good. Okay. Biceps brachii.
The scapula.
Okay, scapula. We were talking about humerus. Okay. The rectus femoris.
I have the pelvis and specific the ilium.
Yep. And the insertion?
Patella.
Patella. Okay. If you patella is fine. Patella is actually probably the correct one, but if you put tibia, I'll let that go as well. Okay.
What was the origin for the rectus femoris again?
Ilium.
Ilium. Okay.
It was the ilium is the origin. Did you ask for the insertion?
No, she has
the origin.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Okay. The insertion is going to be the patella or the tibia. Okay. And then for the next three, the insertion is all patella, right? Or tibia. Okay. But where do the three vastus come from?
Is it the femur?
Yeah. Okay.
In the origin. Okay. Mhm.
Okay. The coracobrachialis.
The scapula for the origin.
Scapula for the origin and insertion.
The humerus.
Humerus. Good. Okay. The adductors.
The pelvis?
Okay. You have to be more. more specific, the pelvis is not a bone.
The pubis.
Pubis. Good. And then insertion is
Femur?
Yeah, it is. Mhm. You got it, Kira.
okay.
Thank you.
Cool. Okay. Hard one, the gracilis.
Which one?
Gracilis.
Phyllis. I got the pubis and tibia.
Yep.
Okay, great.
It's a really long muscle.
Yeah.
Okay. So, like, if you want to know what the gracilis does, if you, and obviously guys can't really do this, but girls, if you cross your legs, like when you sit like cross-legged, like your leg is coming in, your thigh is going out. That is how you use your gracilis.
Oh, good.
Okay. Okay. Pectineus.
I got pubis and femur.
Femur. Yeah, it's the same as all the adductors. Okay. Biceps femoris.
Ischium and fibula.
Fibula. Good. Semitendinosus.
Ischium and tibia.
Yep. And semimembranosus.
Ischium and tibia again.
Yeah. I think it has some parts of it actually attached to fibula, but doesn't really matter. You can put either one. The tibialis anterior.
I got tibia and medial cuneiform.
Yep. Soleus.
I got tibia and fibula and then calcaneus.
Calcaneus. Good. Gastrocnemius.
I got ilium and tibia.
Sorry, what?
Ilium, ilium and tibia? Is that wrong?
No.
Is it the femur and calcaneus?
Oh, my
Yeah,
way,
femur and
off.
calcaneus.
I'm way off.
Yeah, I was like, what?
I
So
don't know.
so these two are the calf muscles, right? And they come together at the very end, and that's going to be the calcaneal tendon, or the more commonly known as the Achilles tendon.
I did this like at 2 a.m, so I think I don't know. I think I just wrote it down twice.
Okay. But yeah, the soleus starts off at the tibia. The gastrocnemius starts off at the femur, but they both merge together at the calcaneal tendon, or the Achilles tendon.
Okay, so then what's the origin again?
For the gastrocnemius, femur,
Okay. And then the insert?
calcaneus.
Professor,
Yeah.
for Solus, the bone was tibia.
And fibula.
Tibia
Then
and fibula
Okay,
for the origin, and then the insertion is calcaneus.
okay, thank you.
So the way I'm gonna ask these questions, really, you just have to name one of the two bones. Like if there's multiple bones, you just have to name one of the two. Okay. Wait, where was I? Okay. Okay. The last one, sternocleidomastoid.
I put down manubrium and temporal bone.
Manubrium and temporal bone.
No.
So yeah. So sternum is manubrium. So you can say clavicle. So sternum, right? So sternum. Manubrium's okay because it's sometimes considered separate bone, sometimes not. But the
So which
sternum,
one's
clavicle, and then the insertion is going to be the temporal bone.
Got
Okay. Okay. All right. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yes.
Yes. All right. What else should we go over? Pretty sure we should go over muscles. Views, muscle, with 1 and 2.
Professor, you said for the for the muscles, the ones in red, we have to know the insertion and origin, right?
Yep.
Okay, got it, thanks.
Okay. One over. All right, let's go over muscles. Okay, what is this thing?
The deltoid,
What is this thing?
latissimus dorsi,
Okay, what is this thing?
trapezium,
Good. Trapezius, not trapezium. Okay, trapezium is a bone cell. All right, what is this thing?
that one's a void major, is it?
Ovoid. Yep. What is this thing?
Lavator scapulae. Yeah.
Or something like, yeah. Okay. All right. What is this little muscle?
Crap, I didn't say that one.
The clavicle, is that clavicle?
Supraspinatus.
Supraspinatus. Good. What is this muscle?
So that'll be the infra.
Infraspinatus. Good. What is that tiny little one right
The teres
Minor.
there? Minor. Good. And therefore this bigger one is the
Teres major.
major. All right. What is this muscle right here?
Pectoralis major, pectoralis major.
Pectoralis major. What's this muscle right here?
Biceps brachii,
This one?
Is that the-
sternocleidomastoid,
Okay. This one right here?
brachialis, brachialis.
Coracobrachialis. Good. What about this one right here?
That the minor pectoralis minor. The
Pectoralis
pectoralis-
minor. Good job. All right. And what is this muscle right here?
serratus anterior,
Serratus anterior. Great. Okay. All right. What is this muscle?
epicranius frontobelly,
So, okay, the muscle is epicranius. Okay, this whole thing is the epicranius. This part right here is the frontal belly, but if I ask you for the name of the muscle, all I'm looking for is epicranius. Does that make sense?
okay.
What are you looking for? Because I have frontalis. Is that wrong?
No, that's all. That's all. No, that's the other name for it. Does
So
that make,
that, so that would be incorrect?
no, that would be correct.
Okay, okay.
What's the name of this muscle?
Temporalis.
Well, good. That one.
Orbicularis oculi.
This one.
Orbicularis oris.
This one.
That's a zygomatus.
Zygomaticus. Yeah.
That be the major though?
Yeah. So that's a major, that's a minor, but I'm not gonna ask you guys to distinguish between the two. So
Thank you.
sure. All right. What is that muscle?
Risorius.
Risorius. Good. What is this muscle?
The
Master.
The masseter. Okay. What is this muscle?
the platysma.
Platysma. Okay. What is this muscle?
Trapezius.
Trapezius. Good. Okay. All right. Oops. Okay. So you can finally see some more muscles here. This muscle right here is,
Orbicularis oris.
and that one is
Buccinator.
Buccinator. Yes. Okay.
Hey, Professor, are we getting any like live diagrams of, it's very different, putting the live versus animated? Or
No.
Animated.
That,
Will you be using these slides?
yes.
Okay.
Okay. So this muscle here is
Sternocleidomastoid.
good. This muscle group is
The
Infrahoid.
Gastric.
digit
Digastric.
nope.
It's not the digastric?
Suprahoid.
Suprahyoid group. Right? That okay, so
Oh,
that muscle right there is the digastric, right? But like I said, like all the answers are going to be on your muscle list, right? And I said, for this, all you have to know is the suprahyoid group versus the infrahyoid group.
That's right. You said that on a video. I remember.
Okay, so like this example is a sternohyoid and stuff like that, but you don't need to know that. Just suprahyoid and infrahyoid. Okay, does that make sense?
Yes.
Like they usually work as a group anyway, so the individual muscles themselves are not really that important. All right, so there's not very much on here. Okay, so there's just this muscle group right here. Okay, this whole big thing right here is
Erector spinae.
okay. The only other muscle group that you see here is this one right here, and that is
Quadratus lumborum.
quadratus lumborum. Okay. All right. So, this muscle here is
External oblique.
this muscle right here is
Rectus abdominis.
this muscle right here is,
Internal oblique.
and that one.
Transversus abdominis.
Good. Okay. This line down the middle is called what?
Linea alba.
Yeah, well, good. Okay. All right. Uh, okay. All right. So there's only a couple muscles I didn't go through here. This muscle here is
The biceps brachii.
no.
Oops.
What,
Tricep.
triceps,
Oh,
right? So
yeah,
this is the
yeah.
this is the back, right? So you can see the latissimus dorsi here. You can see the spine and scapula here. Okay. So this is a triceps. Okay. So this is obviously
That's the, yes.
that's a biceps. What's underneath it?
That little triangle. That's,
Biceps.
So this is the biceps.
so that's the
Brachii.
triceps, like the lateral head,
Nope.
long head. Brachialis.
Brachialis.
Oh, it's good.
Okay.
Was this muscle here?
That's the brachioradialis.
Yeah, that's a brachioradialis. Okay. Does that make sense? Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Muscle.
Brachyradialis.
Brachioradialis. Muscle.
That's the flexor something.
Okay. I guess you like.
Flexor carpi radialis.
Good. And then this one.
Let me look that up.
Palmaris
Palmaris.
longus.
Mhm.
Humerus. There's one more word. Oh,
Longus.
humerus longus. Okay, good. And then this one.
The flexor
Actually, it's not. No, it's not.
palmaris.
Yep. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. All right. This muscle.
I haven't gotten that far. Iliopsoas? Iliopsoas?
Iliopsoas, yes. Okay. This one.
The pectorinus.
Yes.
Pectorinus.
Good. Continuous. And this one.
Adductor longus,
Good. And this one.
gracilis,
Good. This.
sartorius,
Good. This.
tensor fasciolate,
Good. This.
Rectus femoris, vastus lateralis, vastus medialis.
Good.
Go ahead, Beatriz.
Thank you.
All right. So this muscle right here.
The lateral head? The lateral head.
So the head is, you know, half the muscle, right? But what's the whole muscle called?
Oh, that's the gas, gas,
Gastrocnemius.
gastrocnemius.
Good. And then underneath it is the
The soleus.
soleus. Good. And this is calcaneal tendon right here. Okay.
You want us to know the tendon too? To really,
Not really.
all right. It's a teaching moment, just a little teaching moment.
Yes. Well, this is your Achilles tendon, right? So I'm sure you guys like realize, you know, like I still can't believe like he snapped his Achilles tendon and he's still able to walk. But yeah, that's kind of crazy. Okay. All right. So this slide. Okay. What is this thing?
Muscle fiber.
It's muscle fiber. What's the layer of connective tissue around the muscle fiber?
Endomysium.
Endomysium. What is this thing?
Fascicle.
Okay. And what's the layer of connective tissue?
Perimysium.
Okay. And what's the connective tissue here around the muscle?
Epimysium.
Okay.
You said epimysium?
Yep.
Okay.
Epi, peri, endo. Okay. And then mysium. Okay. Or mysium. Okay. All right. Oops. A little shoot trigger happy here. Okay. So what are we looking at here? Okay. What is that thing?
Z-disc.
This. Okay. What is this thing? The blue.
Actin filament,
Good. What's this filament?
thick filament,
Good. What is this thing?
M line,
M line. And what is that thing?
H zone,
Zone.
Good. What is this thing?
Tintin.
Good. Okay. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yes.
Yes. All right. So, drawings. Okay, we'll stop recording.